Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, a.k.a. PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast here on Blab. I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter I go as PD Beats. This is the brand episode of Popternative. This is usually the social media, sports, pop culture, where we're going to talk about branding in a digital age. So we're going to introduce the panel very quickly. We have Manager of Growth Hacking and Digital Marketing for OSEG. We have Matt Smith. Matt, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. We have Digital Media Specialist for Arizona State University, the Sun Devils. We have Grace Hoy. Grace, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. And we have reporter, new sports anchor for Sportsnet. We have Faizal Khamisa. Faizal, welcome.
Thanks, guys.
So let's get you guys to quickly introduce yourselves to our viewers. Matt, let's start with you.
Hey, so as Peter mentioned, I'm Matt Smith. I manage all the social media channels for the Ottawa Red Blacks of the Canadian Football League, Ottawa Fury FC of the North American Soccer League, and Ottawa 67s of the Ontario Hockey League, as well as TD Place, which is our venue. It's kind of a unique setup. It's a 24,000-seat football stadium, as well as a soccer stadium with a 9,000-seat arena attached to it, with buildings, retail, restaurants, bars. It's a city within a city, basically. So, yeah, no 2 days are the same.
All right. Faizal, what about you?
I am anchor at Sportsnet. I've been there for a few years now, slowly trying to climb the ranks and make it in this weird media conglomerate in this city, in this country that's often difficult at times. But I started as a business student at the University of Western Ontario in London, Ontario, and quickly found that was not something I wanted to do long term, and tried to figure it out during my course of university, and eventually just took a shot at broadcasting, and it's led me here. So there's a lot more detail on the backstory, of course, as I'm sure there are with all of us, but that's the kind of the Coles Notes right now.
And Grace?
Yeah, so I'm a digital media specialist at Sun Devil Athletics for Arizona State Athletics, and I do social media and email marketing. Right now we have 25 Division I sports, so it's balancing all of those for our official athletic social media platforms and making sure everything gets posted about. I went to Arizona State myself, and I'm originally from California, and I'm really excited to participate because I love everything that has to do with pop culture and media and entertainment and branding and marketing.
Awesome. That's basically what Popternative is. We wanted to talk about it all, pop culture, social media, sports. And so we're seeing, I want to have like a branding episode because the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago, everyone was using hashtag brand bowl, and it just made me think about how branding in the digital age is, especially specifically for sports brands, has drastically changed. It's been a huge impact in a positive way for sports brands. So I just wanted to have discussions about that. Go around the panel. Maybe Grace, we can start with you. How do you see in your opinion the sport brand now in the digital age, and how is social media allowing the sports brand to get more exposure on a national or global stage?
Right. I think we're at this interesting point where the internet and social platforms have evolved so much that there's really nothing that's fragmented anymore. All of your social platforms and your interests and different sorts of people are all sort of together in the conglomeration of mixed media and what your interests are. So really you have to use that to brand yourself or your own brand to be a part of those conversations and to use the various forms of digital or something that's pop culture or something that's interesting to expand your audience and be relevant and be interesting to people and catch their eye, and then also to use it as a way to further engage the existing audience that you have.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think about that?
Well, I think Grace hit it right on the head. It's about reaching out and getting that new audience and engaging with pop culture and incorporating it into your brand really allows you to do that. Sometimes you're limited to only your existing fans, and when you integrate pop culture, whether it's music, movies, TV, what have you, that allows you to reach a whole other demographic. So at the end of the day, your fans are fans of other things too. It's amazing. There's so many conversations to jump into right now. It's just a matter of kind of picking the right ones and not jumping in all of them.
Yeah, so what do you think about that cross promotion of sports, pop culture?
Yeah, I think it's completely necessary as well. Even when I'm on TV now and I do updates every day and occasionally anchor the show, and I find that there's more response when you tie in the relevance of sports to something else that's going on. That's why I'll always try to bring in some sort of musical reference or Grammy. The Grammys run Monday. On Tuesdays, I'll make some sort of reference to it, be it online or be it in the broadcast that I do. Because again, we live in this very social world where you have to show you're a lot more diverse than just a one-trick pony kind of person. And I think brands very much have started to do that. It's been interesting to see the evolution of Twitter over the last few years when over the last several years, obviously not just few now, but it's a medium that it forces you to be creative and it forces you to be smart if you want to get your content out there. And I find that because of that, television is turning into that as well, because people's attention spans are a lot smaller than they were before. So you have to kind of captivate someone right away. So if you're wanting to do that, especially I find it's a lot more captivating when you're trying to be relevant with what's going on pop culture wise as well.
No, I think that's exactly my opinions on that subject too. And Grace, Faizal used the word captivated. You just talk about some of the content that the Sun Devils focus on creating on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure you want to have that pop, like there is like some the leveraging of pop culture that happens from time to time. If you just talk about that a little bit. Sure.
It's a challenge, but really interesting to find ways to promote what we want to showcase from a business perspective, and then also highlighting our 550 student athletes while also meeting what fans want to see. So we have to be creative about that. And just something that was a really fun series that we did was a series of Dub Smash videos, and I call it Pitchfork Perfect. So on Media Day, we have like football players, baseball players, or women's basketball players, anyone pick, whatever they want to choose from Dub Smash, whether it be a really popular Vine video or a line from a movie or a song, and then they would recreate it, and a lot of them ended up singing on their own and just putting completely their own spin on it. So that's something that was really fun, and people responded really well to that. And then if someone ended up getting a touchdown during the season, we could pull up this old clip. So that's something that is an interesting piece of media that fans aren't going to find anywhere else. And I think that's a challenge, too, in this ever-evolving media landscape. There's so many different outlets that report on each team. What are you going to do to position yourself and have a competitive advantage to make yourself unique and interesting, and why are fans or consumers going to go to your site? So just finding ways to be fun and like a relevant part of the conversation.
Matt, do you think in the digital age of sports, do you think there's almost like there's like a absolute must to incorporate and leverage pop culture into a sports brand? Because a lot of people are with social media, digital media, they're able to discover a lot more things. Netflix is really hot right now. Do you think it's almost like a necessity?
I think it is a necessity. Just whether you do it or not in moderation is the key. When I first started working in the social space, everyone jumped on to pop culture, especially memes and GIFs, and even up here in the CFL, we started a thing called Meme War Monday, which is where we'd interact with other teams throughout the league using memes, GIFs, and base it around a certain theme. So whether it's Christmas or the Academy Awards, that kind of thing. And we basically found that it was just a little too much. It worked well for a few weeks, and then it became stale, and it wasn't captivating people as much. So we turned to creating team branded content, whether it's, again, GIFs and memes, something that directly relates to the team. And we tied in pop culture. what we did is we talked to our players, and it's like, well, what music do you listen to? What shows do you watch? Because we want our brand to represent our players and try to connect them with our fans and find common ground. So, basically, I got a text from one of our players one night, and he said, Drake's new song, Summer 16, that's got to be our motto for this season. Because we were on a Grey Cup run. We lost last year in the Grey Cup. The song's about revenge. It's about Summer 16, which is when we play the majority of our games. Yeah, I figured that's a good fit. It comes from our players. It's taking advantage of something that's hot right now, and just finding a good connection, I think, is important.
We're actually in talks to have your quarterback on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mr. Burris?
Mr. Burris.
Mr. Burris.
Henry Burris. The hybrid, the talk show host and the quarterback.
You better book 3 hours then. you won't stop.
Before Faizal, I'll ask you a question because I want to get your take on everything about the NBA All-Star, because I was actually in Toronto last week. I could go to any of the events. Yeah, we were supposed to meet up, but I know it was crazy.
Times are tough, man.
It was crazy. I know my buddy Ben from Walker, who's tuning in right now. He was very busy. We were supposed. Ben's here.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, we were supposed to meet. I know Armand from Bleacher. Like, a lot of people were down there for the event.
Yeah.
Very quickly, Matt. Yeah, no, it was insane. Like, I know a lot of Bleacher Report was down there. I know Greg Esposito from the Suns was down there. Grace.
Woo! Ignite.
Yeah, I know.
PHX.
He was there, but yeah, I like gifts, but I'm not a big fan. And Matt, you've seen some of my tweets about it, and a lot of my friends who run social media for NHL teams really lace into me about this. I don't like when gifts are used all the time and the same ones are used over and over. That's just my thing, and people take it way out of context now because you know how great people can be on Twitter. They're fantastic, and think, oh, Peter hates gifts, don't post gifts. No. I like gifts, like you said, in moderation. We're going to move on to that.
You got to mix up your content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
it's video.
I just think there's a lot of teams that will use like the same Family Guy gif over and over again, like when a goal is scored or when a touchdown. And I'm just like, there's more stuff out there, Like,
Right.
But Faizal, what do you think about what I find really interesting about this NBA All-Star game is, it was the NBA All-Star game that was in Toronto. But it really had a feel that it was like a Raptors event. Like, it was like the branding of the Raptors.
I think that's partially because Canada only has one team. And when you get an event like this, it is going to be associated very much with the team that kind of reflects the country. And the Raptors are very much that team. It also, I think, helps that the Raptors had 2 All-Stars in the event in itself. So Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan were both All-Stars and very much playing hosts to the rest of the city. And people can laugh at this, and I know they have, and I had a lot of conversations over the weekend about this man's association with the team and what it means, but Drake is, an employee of the Toronto Raptors, and when he is, quote-unquote, hosting the city, or hosting the guests in the city, by far the biggest celebrity or biggest association with the team that this city has, it's gonna feel like a Raptors event because he is that guy, and but I think it was very much a countrywide event, and weather certainly made it feel more like that because it was minus 120,000 over the course of the weekend.
It was so cold, and I brought the wrong jacket. I brought the wrong jacket. Like, I brought one jacket, and I blew it. It was really bad.
But man, I'll tell you what, there is a sense of pride as part of this because the Raptors as a team have slowly evolved into a cooler team, a more branded team that's no longer represented by a small purple dinosaur per se. They're a brand in itself now, and that has a lot to do with Drake. And when that's the case, and that's the association, and all of that is pertaining to the All-Star game itself, you're gonna have that feel where it's a Raptors kind of event. But just talking to writers and media people that were here for that weekend, I think a lot of them actually realize how cool the city is in itself, and if that helps the Raptors in the long term, then let it be a Raptors event,
No, for sure. And you're live. You were live tweeting a storm at one point, and there was some good stuff there.
I live for the live tweet of fun events, and I'm a big gift guy myself. I'll make a lot of them. And that dunk contest that Saturday night, I know someone just asked if we watched it, and not only did I watch it once, I've watched it 2 more times because it was incredible. There was just so much happening, and what I love, and this is where I think I can get future use out of the gifts that weekend, the reaction shots, man. That's always the highlight of the All-Star Saturday night because
Andrew Wiggins, that was my favorite one.
Each other back and hitting each other and stuff like that, and all of that stuff becomes relevant as the season goes. I think you can use that, so many different times. And in fact, the post that I did for Sportsnet that weekend was the top 10 reaction gifts from the weekend, and that was my only contribution in terms of things that you can measure. But that was the most fun to do because it was great to go through all of them and see the best ones.
I know they like Levine and he did really well, but that Gordon dunk where he jumped over the mascot like behind his leg, that was one of the craziest things. I thought he was incredible. Incredible. That was my favorite dunk of the whole contest. I was like, that's insane. But yeah, no, it was crazy and great. So shifting from NBA and professional sports to college sports, because that's your wheelhouse right there. How you guys, there's some big events coming up. March Madness is right around the corner, and how do you go on to prepare the Sun Devils brand for all these big events, knowing that the whole school and the whole country are behind you, because there are big events that I'm sure you have to create campaigns to lead up to, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's really nice when your season paves the way and you can be extra prepared. Sometimes, some years, less than others. So really leveraging the best pieces of content from every game. Like right now, our women's basketball team is ranked number 9. They just had a buzzer-beating overtime win over Stanford on late Saturday night. So just being able to use video, use Snappy TV to capture that clip right away and push it out as much as you can to get people hyped up before those big moments happen. And that's why social is great, because you can share the stories on the court and off the court and who are student athletes and who makes up Sun Devil athletics to really get people interested and engaged, because that's going to help us, and that's what people would like to see, the behind-the-scenes content, like I referenced earlier, making sure your graphics and your campaigns all tie together from emails to your website to your social, so that as a fan or someone looking online, it makes sense and tells a cohesive story, and that's really important.
You're used to the word cohesive. I like that. That's perfect.
Yeah, because for us, we all work with a bunch of different people in a bunch of different departments, so we know that not everyone is making the same thing, but if you're online looking at something, it should match up everywhere, and it should tell one consistent narrative.
The college sports sphere, and it just amazes me. It's so amazing. Talking to it just drives me insane. Just for example, we had Chris Yandel for Georgia Tech Athletics on the show twice, and he was talking about his the Yellow Jackets had a game and the attendance was not the greatest compared to other games, and he's saying there was only 45,000 to 50,000, and I'm just that just blows my mind, Matt, because we in Canada, what I mean,
we don't get that up here.
No, we don't.
Not even close.
No, and he's telling me that there are some stadiums that, well, I know we've had Brian Wagner, Michigan Athletics, their stadium is massive. I think it's twice the size, right?
Yeah.
So it's insane to see it, and a lot of you Grace, the Sun Devils feeds, I follow them. You guys do such a great job. Justin Carp, Pac-12 Networks, he does a really good job.
Yeah.
I love having people from college sports on the show, because it's just it's a whole different world, a whole different spectrum that I wouldn't think in a million years putting on a game and it's just college athletes and there's 60,000 people strong in unison watching. It's fantastic. I love it. That's on my bucket list. I have to go to a college sporting event. I do.
You have to. Absolutely. And I mean, people have such strong ties to it. But, not only do you live there or it's your regional favorite team, but a lot of people, it's their alma mater. So no matter what, you're going to stick with it, and that makes it exciting. And then, every 4 years, essentially, you have a new team and it's new people to get to know. So it changes a lot.
Faizal and Matt, we're big hockey fans. The Frozen Four is also one of my favorite events. It's so good, I remember watching Johnny Gaudreau in it, and now he's playing for the Flames. I love it. It's one of my favorite events. And then I just watched the Beanpot game a couple weeks ago. I love college hockey so much. They're developing great players, and the social media teams are doing a really good job of keeping us updated because Matt, 5-10 years ago, we wouldn't really know we wouldn't have access to find out what's going on, with the Sun Devils and Arizona State, right?
Yeah, no, it's put us in touch with a whole other group of people in sports that we never would have any idea that it well, not that it existed, but we're stuck in our own little bubble without technology and without Twitter. It's really made this a global world. And I think it's cool because running a major junior hockey league team account, I can learn a lot from what a college hockey team does. Technically we're kind of competitors because we're competing for players in the recruitment stage, but like Boston University does a lot of great stuff. Northeastern does a lot of great stuff. It's fun just seeing what, I envy college athletic departments. I think it's bad that I have 3 teams to work out. That's
and a stadium.
In a stadium, that's a small problem for a Division I school like Arizona State, right? So it's cool. It's cool to see how those teams and schools juggle that many sports and still manage to put out such great content across the board. Telling that cohesive narrative that Grace mentioned earlier is something that we strive to do for each one of our teams, and they manage to do it for 25 different sports. It's cool.
Yeah. We have a question actually. We have one. How much social training do teams give players? And 2, is there anything better than Bruno on Snapchat? So, yeah, Matt. Look, I know for a fact that the Red Blacks do have social training. I know you've told me about it a little bit. Can you give us a little bit more insight about that?
Yeah, we keep it pretty basic. For all 3 teams at the first team meeting of each season, I'll get up in front of the team and give a little 5-10 minute spiel of who I am, what I do, what our goals are as an organization on social. Basically just tell the guys that I'm here if they ever need to use me as a sounding board. I want to empower them because I think they're our number one resource. That's what fans attach onto the players first and foremost. So I tell them whatever they need from me, I'm there. Text me 24 hours a day. If they're unsure of whether or not they should post something, check with me. I basically say if you're not going to say it into a camera, don't tweet it. It's just
smart.
You don't want to end up on SportsCenter as the worst top 10 kind of thing. And we can administer fines if need be. We've never had to do that. I've never had any issues with any of our players. You have to trust them. You show them trust, and you show them that you're there to help them, especially improving their personal brands for post-football, post-soccer, post-hockey. That's something that's become even bigger nowadays is these guys are trying to build their brands while they're in the league and trying to plan for whatever their career may be after that. So I'm there to help them for that as well. Trust.
I just want to give a quick. Yeah. No, absolutely, and Faizal, very very quickly too. So you're a bit different than all of us because you're a sports anchor, right? So you're covering a lot of different news. I had Ian Mendez from TSN 1200 on the show last week, and we were talking something similar that I could ask you. You're representing Sportsnet, but you're also representing Faizal Khamisa. You're the face. It's the Faizal Khamisa brand, right? So it's like you have to also be careful,
Absolutely.
you know, how you have more leeway because you're, you know, you're media, you're an anchor, but you have to be careful as well, right?
I think, you know, it's the same rule. It's the same rule that kind of applies. If you're not going to say it in front of a camera, if you're not willing, my thing is this. If you hesitate for a second about putting something out there, it's just safer not to put it out there. There's just no reason to even get yourself in that kind of gray area in itself. And that's the same thing with TV. There are times where, like, I'll write a script and, you know, in my eyes, like, this is hilarious and this is funny and this is witty. But, you know, when you read it over for the 10th time before you go on air and you're like, you know what, somebody could get offended, and the fear and it's not even fear. You want to be respectful of your audience no matter what. And if even the thought of somebody being offended by what you do crosses your mind, I'll just cut it. It's just not worth it. You know, it's really not worth it. And I value my job. I appreciate my job. And I know I've worked hard to get here, and to lose it or to put my credibility in question over a senseless 140 character tweet or, you know, 1 minute segment
or an emoji
or a GIF or whatever.
Like the Houston Rockets guy.
True.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And as you can see, like, an animated guy, so I like to express myself in a lot of different ways. And but again, there are limits to all of those things. And you know, with the job that I have representing a national network, it's it seeps in your mind no matter what you do, and it should, because again, while you are your own brand, there's still something bigger associated with you, and I'm very fortunate to be in that position. So I might as well just lay low a little bit sometimes.
Lay low or wear those snazzy suits.
Yeah, you know what? Again, that's about making yourself different. It's about standing out. And you know, some people do the GIFs online. I'll wear the crazy color suits: the reds, the purples, the yellows, the green.
Oh, the suits!
You got to make yourself known.
The blue
right?
one is. The blue one in your display pic is actually perfect. Man. Like it's
that
awesome.
one. That picture has been used against me a few times, and again, probably not publicly because of my association with the company, but I have friends that have sent me some weird mock-ups of that one, so we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out, because what I love about Blab too is, you know, it's live and people come in, and, you know, we saw Ben from Foot Locker was speaking, but, you know, Matt, you were just like talking to Dom Lewis. Dom Lewis is social media producer for the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL. So it's pretty awesome that he's able to.
Big time viewers.
Yeah, big time. I know it's
reaching the West Coast.
And we're talking about we're talking about brands, right? So, you know, we have a lot of big brands involved in this. It's pretty cool. Foot Locker, Seahawks, Sun Devils. Matt brought like a ton of brands with him, with the 67s, the Red Flags.
Awesome.
And, you know,
sitting within the city.
Faizal has a few brands too, you know, Sportsnet, and you're involved in a clothing or something,
and
right?
It's interesting just hearing Grace and Matt talk about associating tweets with brands, because you know, I started a clothing company with a friend of mine about a month or 2 months ago. It's a men's accessory company that does socks and ties and, you know, whatever I got. Just here. But yeah. But it's hard. It's hard to start up a Twitter account and see it kind of grow, obviously. And it's interesting just hearing some of the things that the two of you and the three of you actually have done and have to say, because and I've found that the struggles have come to retaining people or captivating people through a startup Twitter account per se, you know?
Yeah, if my dog's Instagram account has taught me anything, it's that, like, because my sister and I have an Instagram account for our dog. He's a superstar. He has 136,000 followers.
Unbelievable.
Whoa.
And
that's,
you know,
my way. I don't know. You know,
yes. Can I get a shout out?
Get him on the show.
And he was on the show actually, because I had John Liu from TSN, and we both we both have Morkies. We brought them both on. It was awesome. But yeah, no, it's content. Just Ben, like you were saying about Justin Karp. Justin Karp has come on the show. We had him on the show with Chris Yandel and Jenny Hogan from Tagboard, and he brought up, you know, if your content sucks, it's like a restaurant, right? It's plain and simple. People are coming for the content, right, guys? We're making content. The content's not good. People aren't coming back. And he was really he was really
Absolutely.
animated about that because I feel like he's had conversations with people before about like how they're, well, you know, it depends. Like, no, plain and simple. If you open up a restaurant and the food's not good, people are not coming. If you have social media content that is, you know, banal or boring, people are not going to stay around. It's tougher because, you know, in a lot of industries there are, you know, there's not as much leeway and there's rules, right? So some accounts won't have the access or the ability to be maybe quirky or fun because it depends on the brand. I know a lot of international sporting brands, you know, they can't do that type of stuff. They have to, you know, stay, you know, the civil conservative brand that just promotes, you know, upcoming events. But it's an interesting world, and you know, like you said, Faizal, it's a world too where you have to be careful. But you know, it's cool to get those little fun little nuggets in there from time to time, and
Within reason.
and
Within reason, yeah.
within reason.
Well, everyone's trying to be the LA Kings now, right?
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
and we're not the LA Kings. You know, they developed a very niche brand for themselves that worked, and trying to impersonate them just it doesn't work. You got to.
We had Pat Don. We had the guy behind the account.
And he did a great job with it.
And I actually, I wrote my master's research essay on his work, and I studied his stuff for 2 years, just like archiving for tweets. Yeah, it was, and I emailed him, and he was just like academics are looking at my stuff, really? Like he was so like confused. But we had him on the show, and you know, I quoted him, and I read some stuff for Sports Illustrated. I quoted him in a few of the articles too. And yeah, absolutely. And that his brand has done a good, like they've done a good job though. Where Matt, you like mentioned, you didn't mention any other. You mentioned the LA Kings, right? So they stick out in the crowd of what they do. I know, Grace, in the NCAA and sports, you know, Clemson is a team that you know is talked about a lot, because, you know, they're doing a lot of creative, fun stuff, you know, with their Vines and their Instagram account as well. And, you know, you're going to have those accounts that, you know, are seen as you're going to have those teams that are seen as trailblazers.
Right. And I think so much of that, too, is that analytical part of social. Like, every week since I've been on the job, every week I do, like, a weekly report, and I track all the main platforms of our Pac-12 friends / competitors, however you want to look at it. And it's really interesting to see how things have grown and what platforms have taken off, and that for like championships or performance don't always dictate that you grow a lot on social. So content really is king. The coolest moment that we've had in 2016, maybe all season, was when we had Michael Phelps be a part of our basketball curtain of distraction, which for anyone who hasn't seen it, our student section in the second half has this curtain, and they do these crazy things, like really bizarre, distracting skits. And Michael Phelps was part of one a few weeks ago. They did some Chippendales type of impersonation, and it like froze my phone.
I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy. Like being right there, photographers were going back and forth between watching the game and just sitting, waiting for him to come out of the curtain. What's he going to do? And to see the reaction of that, people went nuts. Like, he came out of the curtain. The guy missed both free throws. Our player followed up with the dunk, and then there was a giant USA chant. So capturing that on social and sharing it, it was crazy. It was one of those nights.
Your phone must have been off the hook with notifications.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was freezing. It was one of those nights where you're up till after 2 a.m. just watching all the engagement and notifications roll in, and the next morning it had just completely blown up. So moments like that you can capitalize and use, and are so fun for people to watch. And I have people send me screenshots of it on the BBC, or someone saying, this is an email I got from my mom about the curtain of distraction in Germany. Back to what we were saying before. People would never have been able to reach us and tell us these stories if it weren't for social.
I've learned to turn off notifications with the QMJHL, Matt, because Bob McKenzie once retweeted the QMJHL, and it beat up my phone. My phone was not having a good
Bob
time.
retweets something, yeah, it is.
But it's exciting.
Of course it is. Yeah.
It is, but man, it was just like boom. I remember seeing, there's a video online. I'm not sure, maybe you've seen it, you guys, but there's a video of someone like who has like a couple million Instagram followers, like tweeted a photo
man,
and then
just
put his notifications on, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
insane. It's actually really entertaining too because it goes on for about 3-4 minutes the video, and it's nonstop, just like a waterfall of notifications. It's crazy.
When we yeah.
Social media problems.
Yeah. Oh no. There's and you know, another thing too is Sasky Stewart with the CWHL, who's been on the show a few times. You know, about just reminded me when you said, you know, if you wouldn't say it, you know, out loud, don't put it on the internet. She also said if you wouldn't tell your grandma that thing, don't put it on the internet.
I test jokes out with my grandma all the time just to get
it depends how snarky your grandma is.
She's snarky.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up this episode of Popternative really soon. But you know, we had technical difficulties with Blab getting on, but I'm really really happy that we ended up doing it. And thank you guys for your patience because you know we were supposed to start this about an hour earlier, but you know it worked out, which was awesome. Closing remarks for any of you? Anything we should check out, Grace? Anything you know you want to say?
Can I wait? See what they have to say?
We can say, I get it. Like,
a lot of
like a save the best for last type thing, or?
No, I just want some ideas. We were talking about getting inspiration from each other. I'll go off that.
Matt, anything you know we should be looking out for? Or anything you want to say? Closing remarks?
I mean, if you're interested in social and sports, just expand your horizons as much as possible. You know, follow pro teams, follow collegiate athletics, personalities like Faizal. You're going to get a different variety of content than you would if you just focused on one area. That's where I get all my inspiration. Jessica Smith, Social and Sport blog, it's good. So subscribe to that. And tune in to PD Beats, Popternative.
Thank you. That's fun. Faisal, what about you?
I think is one of the biggest takeaways is I think, and maybe all three or four of us can relate to this, is like I think we're all doing things we relatively enjoy doing. There's a lot of people I know in our age demographic that, you know, sometimes are just too scared to take a shot. I was one of those people, you know, when I was in university growing up, and I think it's cool to follow your passions and just kind of go for your dreams. I don't think, you know, 5-6 years ago I'd envision myself in the position I'm in now. But you take a chance on yourself, you bet on yourself, and you work hard and you know, work smart with that as well, and you can get there. And you know, I know we probably all have crazy backstories that have led us to this, and I just urge people to think of their own and think about what will make them happy, and just kind of go for it. That's it.
Absolutely. Do it with passion or don't do it at all is something.
That's a tough act to follow, Grace.
Oh, no.
I know. Both of those are great, and I think it's been personally great to realize this like hashtag SM Sports social media and sports community exists, and there have been so many people that I've got to meet online and then transferred to meeting in person, whether at a conference or you're just in the same town as them. People are so receptive to having conversations or just bouncing off ideas and really learning and soaking up what other people are doing and what path got them to where they are. And so are looking at other industries like we talked about before. Nothing is really distinct anymore. So what's happening in tech is super applicable to sports and pop culture. And I think it's really interesting to look at the research and analytical side as well, especially if there's something content-wise you're trying to push, if you could back it up with the demographics or the numbers behind it. That's a great skill to have.
And you know, when I usually do this segment of the show, closing remarks, I never give any closing remarks, but I think I'm going to break that rule for now because you just reminded me, Faizal, of something I want to say and give advice to, you know, students and people who want to be in this field. Help people. Pay it forward and help people. Network and be that nice person that, you know, wants to, you know, help someone. You know, if someone contacts you on social media and wants to, you know, have a conversation or email you some questions because they're aspiring to do what you want to do, you know, be open to, you know, have those conversations. I think we're in a situation where when people can help each other, it's a wonderful thing, and it really, to share the passions we all do is spectacular. I just want to see more of people
I
helping
know
people,
Popternative alumnus Nabil Kareem, who was on the show, who's actually the reason I watched the show the first time, because of his link. He helped me tremendously. I was just like you said, I just randomly messaged him on Facebook one day because I knew that we had a mutual friend, and I figured I would take a shot. This was before anything. And ironically, I saw him maybe 40 minutes before the show was scheduled to start today. And it's pretty cool to see that. And because of him, like you said, and anybody that asks at any time, just willing to do it, because I know how hard it is to even take that step. So, yeah, like that's a great piece of advice, PD.
You know what? Let's do that now. Let's go around very quickly, because there's a few people that have helped me over the couple of years that I'm going to say thank you live right now. And I'm sure, Grace, there are some people that helped you, and Matt the same. So for me, Andy Perman, who does the Pittsburgh Penguins social media, has helped me and has really been there in terms of if I ever had questions about anything, she'd be there to walk me through. If there's like a new analytics app, she helped me through that. Craig Button from TSN is someone that's actually really helped me a lot from like the QMJHL point of view and helping our content grow. And of course, Michael Blinn from Sports Illustrated, who's been on the show as well, for giving me the opportunity to write some stuff for the NHL section of sportsillustrated.com. And, it's important to, recognize those people that helped you in your career, because they really go out of their way. Is there anyone, Matt, on top?
Yeah.
Top of your head?
Christina Flynn. She gave me my first internship at Maple Leaf Sport and Entertainment with the Toronto Raptors, actually. So she took a chance on me and really gave me a lot of autonomy when I first started and put a lot of trust in me. And I can feel like I can ask her anything. I'm very lucky, and this is going to sound super cheesy, but I'm lucky to date someone who does the same job as me. So my girlfriend runs the Toronto Argonauts account. So we're rivals, but
that is hilarious.
That is hilarious, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Grace, they're big rivals. Toronto, Ottawa, in the same.
So we're lucky to be able to bounce stuff off each other. So whenever we're wondering, we can just talk openly about new platforms, types of content.
So who has the better social account?
Who
has the better social account, Toronto or Ottawa? You better choose wisely now, though, right?
She just started in Toronto, so I'm going to say Ottawa.
That is crazy.
It's
I'm hoping that they play each other in a really important game this season. Winner goes to the Grey Cup. I want to see that.
Anytime they play, it's important, man. If I know anything about Ontario rivalries, anytime they play, it's real.
It gets heated.
Yeah. Yeah, you said about the internship too. The direct communications at the QMJHL, Foti Soteropoulos, to give me that opportunity was pretty great as well. Forgot him. Yeah, Grace, and anyone specifically?
Sure. Well, at my work, I'm really lucky to work a place where my bosses really value social and know what's important. So my boss, Kate Janjeski, took a chance on me, hired me right after I graduated from college, and Rocky Harris, one of our senior associate athletic directors, who is really into social, and working with both of them is great. And then in the social community, Neil Horowitz, as the first person that asked me to be part of his podcast or do any sort of interview. So that was really cool to be a part of, and then spiraled a bunch of different opportunities. So that was really great.
Yeah. Neil's great too. His tweets are awesome.
Happy birthday, Neil. And then, Peter, today you helped me get to the coveted 1,000 followers.
It's what I do. When I'll go on someone's account and I'll see they're close to like a milestone, and I'll just say, because it's happened. If they're off by 3 or 4, I'll just
happened.
So I'm about awesome. 3,000 away from 5. So if you can help me get there as well, that would be super helpful.
Well, I'll get you some more follow. I'll get you all some more pop.
We need the shout out on the dog Instagram.
Oh God, yeah, that's the goal. I think.
I don't even get the show.
Aren't you the guy that does the account?
Yeah, but my sister does.
Fair.
As well. And but no, it's insane. He's gotten a bunch of endorsements. Faizal, you're into fashion, but we had,
but not dog fashion.
We got Oh no. We
Dog
no.
ties.
We got there's a watch we got. They sent us, our company sent us a watch. It's a Swedish company.
Wow.
What's it called? Wellington? I think Alexander, Daniel Wellington. Yeah, they sent us a watch. And we just had to post it with the dog.
That.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fancy.
That is fancy.
Yeah, and then Dyson sent us a new vacuum too. Because it's like a
Wow.
Yeah. So he gets stuff. Yeah, it's
Just
pretty
looking at my
awesome. He
floor.
gets more
Dude,
mail
could
than I
use a
do.
vacuum too, Dyson. What's up?
It's funny you mentioned the bill too, because we like the vacuum came the day after the episode of the bill, so I mentioned that, and like in the comments on the right, I remember that he just wrote, "I want that Dyson vacuum, Peter."
That's amazing.
So I find that funny. But all right, guys, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This has been Popternative. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can follow us on, you can like us on Facebook. If you missed any previous episodes, you can go to our YouTube page and, of course, our SoundCloud page. Thank you for tuning in for this episode. Have a great night, and thanks to the panelists as well. It was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.